Valentine's Day, cardiovascular disease, and every love song ever written. What do they all have in common? Well, it seems pretty obvious, and it is. It's the heart, but what do we really understand about the heart? As a nursing major, I am well versed in human anatomy classes, and I understand the basics that I can explain to you today. The heart is a multi-chamber organ that pumps blood throughout the entire body. Now, the body can be extremely complex and difficult to understand, which gives us a little bit of a distance between appreciating our body, and just getting the basics can bring us back to that appreciation. We have 4 major chambers, and we have the doors or the valves of the heart, and then we have the blood vessels of the heart. The top 2 chambers are going to be the atriums, the right and the left, and the bottom 2 are going to be the ventricles, the right and the left ventricle. Now, the right side of the heart, the right atrium, is going to be the first part of the cardiac cycle. The right ventricle is going to be the second. The left atrium is going to be third, and the left ventricle is going to be the fourth. Now, each side of the heart, the right and the left, has very different processes when it comes to pumping blood. The right side of the heart is going to pump blood to the lungs to pick up oxygen, so it's deoxygenized blood originally. And that oxygenized blood, with oxygen rich, is going to come up to the left side of the heart, the left atrium and ventricle. And this is actually why, as you can see on the diagram, that the left side seems a little bit thicker and bigger, because it has farther to go, because this is the part of the heart that transfers it to the entire body. Now, to get between these 2 parts of the heart, the atriums and ventricles, we have our atrioventricular valves, or the doors of the heart. On the right side, we have the tricuspid valve, and the left side, we have the bicuspid valve. And then to get from each side of the heart, the right atrium and ventricle, to the lungs, we have the pulmonary semilunar valve, and this is another type of valve, the semilunars. And then we have, on the left side, we have the aortic semilunar valve, and you'll understand pulmonary and aortic a little bit later. Now, these valves, as I stated before, are doors, and they open and close when the heart feels necessary. When these doors lock, it doesn't allow blood through. That's to say, when the tricuspid valve locks, the right atrium doesn't transfer any blood to the right ventricle. Now, these valves allow it to go to our blood vessels, and our important blood vessels to know is the difference between the arteries and the veins. The arteries are going to take blood away from the heart, and the veins are going to bring it back to the heart. And our major arteries to understand are the pulmonary arteries and the aorta. Now, this is the pulmonary trunk, which leads to the pulmonary arteries and the aorta. Then we have our important veins, which are going to be the pulmonary veins and the superior and inferior vena cava. Now, just to go through really quick what all that blood vessels mean, we're going to start with the blood cycle. Right up top, we have the right atrium where the blood starts. It's going to go through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle, down into the pulmonary semilunar valve, into the lungs, where it's going to pick up oxygen. Now, it needs to get taken back to the heart, and that's going to be through the pulmonary veins. It's going to transfer into the left side of the heart, the left atrium, go through the bicuspid valve into the left ventricle, go through the aortic semilunar valve, which is right here leading to the aorta, again, an important artery in the heart, and go to the rest of the body. Now, again, the veins bring it back. So after our body sends all the blood out, we need to get brought back to the superior vena cava or inferior vena cava down here. Superior brings from the top of the body, inferior brings from the bottom of the body. And that's just a little bit about the heart. And again, I state, understanding this part of the heart and just the basics of it can get you into more of how your body works and understanding if it's okay and if it's not, and what to do when it's not okay. Now, I'm going to ask the audience, our audience member, Nicole, can you tell me right in here between the right atrium and the right ventricle, what is the valve in between here?
The tricuspid valve.
And that is correct. It's part of the atrioventricular valves. And just in a few minutes, Nicole was able to grasp that. And with that better understanding of our heart, she's way more able to appreciate what our heart does for us to keep us alive every day.